Okay, this is kind of the dark subject of I guess like shit hits the fan scenario, which I don't actually think is going to happen soon. But here's the thing: for now, your offspring are going to be curious. What did you do to stave off or um, hedge the tide of dependency on the Energy Commission, because at some point in time, that they're going to use energy uh, to be as a coercive tactics to say like if you don't do things our way, you're not getting any. Um, and we already know how to fish, farm, grow crops, hunt, make cordage, make your own shoes. We already know how you have good kiln work. You can disappear for weeks. You can get back with nature, but you want to still have some electricity out there to give life the livable, and to give it some of its joy. You're gonna need electricity, and the way to take control of your electricity is through companies like Power Ledger. I'm not saying you should invest in Power Ledger. I'm just saying that either Power Ledger or some company like Power Ledger is super important if you want to keep your dignity. Um, like the mainstream uh, corporate media left controls the energy through the Energy Commission. They have that power over the rest of the country, and the rest of the country, of course, has agriculture, and they can withhold that, and you can only withhold these things for so long until the situation is so bad that we need a foreign uh, um, peacekeeping. And again, I'm not talking about like this year, next year, the year after next year. I'm talking about like 15, 20 years. Right? If you don't have a company like Power Ledger that is set up to be able to distribute energy that we make through the cleanest way possible, just slowly accumulating it through the sun, you can sell your power to your neighbors. You can give your power to your neighbors. You can run your neighborhood like a collective, and within the interests of the state that you live in. So I mean, it's not going to be no kinky, weird sex cult. It's like really statism, basically states' rights, and the homesteading, and that's like everybody doesn't have to want to do that. I'm not saying everybody you're gonna have to do this. Like that's for me. Like the homesteading is something that I'm interested into. I told you I would like want to hook a stationary bicycle up to a washing machine and use a eco-friendly detergent that I can convert the gray water into watering the crops, and the compost toilets. Know how to like uh, um, rotate your crops and put the minerals back in, composting and covering it up in sections and things like these. Like if you know all that shit, you're good. Like if you don't know all that shit, then you're just gonna straggle in, and you hopefully nobody sectioned off the road and is saying that nobody can come through that road, because so like that's why this next 15 years is all gonna be about building my um, primitive technology campus of bushcraft and you know, co-op farming. I have a few other ideas. I'm gonna be in and out of off-grid life. I have to own my own land for the off-grid life, because there's nowhere to there's nowhere for the natural living man to just practice your off. You have to be involved in something else. Unfortunately, you can't just be the natural living man. You have to learn a trade and master responsible spending and all this shit just to get out of here, just to move, just to be able to go somewhere else and start new. And you may not be far away from that as you think you are. Um, you can invest in Bitcoin. I mean, it helps if you have some background understanding of like Bitcoin dominance, altcoin dominance, and those fluctuations. Um, like the pros and cons of stable coins, not just thinking you have to do something because everybody's saying like you're gonna get wrecked, Um, and geez, I'm there's no thing like advice I can give anybody, just to pursue knowledge. And I made my other uh, videos about um, you know there's some things you can glean from there, but basically it's just to ignite imagination. Imagination activates your you know creativity, your ideas. Basically, you need, like, I know the word imagination is based in things that are not real, but you need it to make your ideas real. So that people can't just tell you that we're not doing that, like we can't do that. You just do, what you want to do and surprise everybody. Like they're not using their imagination, and who knows better when your imagination is being used. You can't let somebody tell you everything. Like, and I know, like, why are you telling me this? Like, there's people that just don't get it. Like, they always go with the crowd, with the masses, and the masses they're always wrong. They're 95% of the time they're wrong, and their best ability, or their biggest talent is dying. So I mean, that should be pretty simple. Just do the opposite. Usually, unless there's some extenuating circumstances that where they might be correct. Like, always just do the opposite. Whatever they say you're not supposed to do, you should do. I mean, it's a trip. That's like something you can go by that.